If... Come on, man. Just fucking mash. Okay, do I have to do it again? Yes, I need to do it again. At least I have full health, but... Oh, I can actually do damage. Nope. Like... This is fucking stupid. This whole fight is like insanely stupid. Like the whole fucking tracking fireball shit. What the fuck is this shit? Like, there's no way to dodge those fucking fireballs. Well, at least I'm practicing my timings. Then you just repeat. Wait, it's... Did it just fucking regenerate health? No. Too early. Why isn't there like a restart from checkpoint? Oh, you can actually do more than one attack. Oh. I see. It regenerated health, yeah. I was right. What the fuck? Can't this shit like fucking end? Like what the fuck is this? Fucking gotcha moments. This is so epic last fight. It's not fucking boring and tedious shit at all. Or repetitive. Or anything. Nah. Here. I'll put your fucking origami into my sword. Oh. I was supposed to kill her. Is it over now? I mean, come on. It's got to be over, right? Please. Say it is over. That's just so fucking... This game is so fucking frustrating. It's insane.
Canna. Canna.
行くのか。なすべきことはなした。君は人殺しではない。ヒーローでもない。だが忍者として一人手を汚して彼女たちを守ってくれた。ありがとう。
ママ。カンナ。あ、カンナ。もう大丈夫。
She can speak now.
ママ、リュウは？私、リュウにひどいこと言った。だから言っちゃったの？
Yes.
彼ならいつでも君たちを見守っているさ。
本当に？
He didn't want to fucking be in this game anymore. So he left. He actually hated being in this game, so, well, he just had to go. His opinion of this game: better get the fuck out of here. This sucks. No, well, actually, no, it doesn't suck. Like, there he goes, into the fucking sunset. Shinobi cleared the game on normal difficulty. Yes. What the fuck? Normal. So, that was that. I mean, the game isn't bad, honestly. I actually enjoyed it for the most part. Like, it's the fucking same thing as with playing any of like a Souls-like for the first time. You get so fucking pissed off. Except that this game has like many flaws. Actual like wonkiness and not working properly kind of flaws. Whereas for like Souls-like games actually have relatively none. Or very little at least. Or you can actually like kinda play around it. But the game is... Yeah, I mean, the game looks really great. I think it actually looks pretty damn like good. Maybe not like graphic wise, but like it has a certain like a cool look to it. And the serious atmosphere and actually somewhat of a coherent plot compared to the last ones, which just like was evil is there, do stuff. Like Sigma 1 and Sigma 2. Sigma 2 had a bit better, but they just skipped around so much with the plot holes or the plot. And it was just jumping around so fucking strangely. So that's the problem with the first and second game. And in this game they actually improved on that, and it was a lot more like serious toned, and the actual like characters had some kind of intelligence behind them, and it wasn't just like doing flashy shit, although there's lots of very anime type of flashy shit. And that's a personal preference if you like it. It's the same as in Metal Gear Rising, but in like I compare that this is similar to Metal Gear Rising, like the over-the-top shit. Although maybe it's a bit more in Metal Gear Rising, or maybe I'm just misremembering because it's been so long since I played and watched it. But back when I played Metal Gear Rising first, it felt like insanely over-the-top, super like what the fuck is going on, and I didn't hate it. In this it felt like kinda similar but not as huge as it is in that, but I don't know. I'd have to play it again to make the comparison. So, I don't know. And it's a personal preference if you like this type of anime style over-the-top shit or not. In my opinion, it works with this, of course, because it's a Japanese ninja game. But it is still kind of funny, and I'm not going to stop like making fun of the weird over-the-top insane bullshit ninja things that happens. The music is also really great. I think personally I like the most out of the 3 games, Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 and this. I like the music in this the best. It kind of like I said that the first one had like insanely good. The second one had pretty good music, but it wasn't like, it didn't stick out that well. But in this, like I actually, some of the music kept playing after my... Wait a minute. Troy Baker actually did the voice acting for Ryu Hayabusa on English dub. Well, okay then. But yeah, the music is like really good in this. It actually made me see, like it stuck in my head, some of the songs, which was kind of interesting. The characters weren't as bland as basically before. They actually had some sort of depth with the secondary characters as well. But the corny fucking, yeah, everybody falls into in love with Hayabusa, would you be my daddy type of shit is just like, why? It's like Team Ninja has like this kind of a fetish with, if there's a female character in the game, it will fall in love with the main character. It happens in every fucking game, Neo 2 and everything. So yeah. The combat is actually like, it has insanely good potential. If it works, when it actually works, it looks really good and flowy. It's kind of like it is kind of like in Metal Gear Rising, but it's more like flowy and with chaining the steel on bones and all that shit. It looks really great and works really great. But yeah, the battle system is potentially like really cool when it works. But the problem is, the battle system just fucking doesn't work properly, and there's so many like fucking huge problems that make me so fucking salty and annoyed at this. Like, out of all of the, like Ninja Gaiden 1 and Ninja Gaiden 2 had their problems with the combat system and the camera system, but in this it's like just fucking shit. I don't know why, but it feels so fucking... Like, maybe it's because this is a faster moving, faster paced game. Maybe it's because of that. But the camera switching sides randomly, like it happened in the last fight, you just go into a one direction and suddenly the camera is behind you and you're like, what the fuck happened? And it's so fucking bad. Not to mention, why can't you move the camera up or down and keep it there instead of it like centering all the time? and then just moving like... At least there's like a targeting system or a lock-on system. Well, as good as it can be, but there at least is a fucking targeting system or lock-on system. So that's a bonus, but otherwise the camera is fucking horrible. Like, what the fuck? Day 8 cleared. Fucking hour for that. Although... That's not true. Is there anything else in here? 438 minutes, but that's not true actually. I wonder what they fucking count actually, because 58 minutes for the last chapter. It kinda sounds like I had died there, but I don't know. Maybe they don't count the cutscenes or something. A new playstyle has been unlocked. Master Ninja. Yes, I'm going to fucking go and play Master Ninja. Current ninja skills and karma save to normal base data. Normal level chapter challenges have been unlocked. The same base data is used when playing the game on a previously cleared difficulty or a chapter challenge on the same difficulty. So basically New Game Plus, except that they're not more challenging. Kazumi has been unlocked in Ninja Trials. Bonus karma is added every time you clear the story or a chapter challenge. Why? Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. Yeah, there's now all of these. Can you actually see the... Longest Chain of Fate. Isuna drops 44. Ultimate technique kills. Like... The fucking dumbest shit ever is that I had to actually switch up to sport and spam a counter move. Like basically use a fucking cheese as... Like I'm not sure if it's Jesus, but it's one of... Like it seemed to work, so I just spammed it because it cuts off the... Like... Like you can't fail it. It instantly usually cuts off the limbs. Like what the fuck is wrong with... What is wrong with the fucking developers in this? Like, who the fuck thought that was like a good idea? That's so imbalanced shit. It's unbalanced and imbalanced and fucking... What the fuck? Yeah, anyway. As I was saying, like, the camera is just shit in this. It's not a... Especially in that last fight, and it's not just that, but in many cases, like, randomly the fucking camera just sucks ass. Not to mention that in most cases, like I said, the enemy might just leap out of the... Like, especially the fucking winged... Like the former old fiend enemies, like the big purple monsters or the winged versions, the green winged versions. They just do that like the insane jump attack, that's a throw, and they come out of the screen without you being able to see them because they come from so far behind and the camera is like whatever. Not to mention, like, yeah, that actually reminded me about the other issue with the camera. When you're in one of, like, in the Crystal Trials and there were like the walls or whatever, there were like pillars in the ground. The camera went like totally fucking haywire and insane and randomly switched sides and did all these bullshit things when I was fighting there, and I had to like bait the enemies out of the like those places because it kept fucking up otherwise. Like what the fuck? Did they even test that camera? I mean, huh? Yeah, the camera is like one of the fucking dumbest shits that there is. And, well, there's like lots of actually... I have to reiterate. I actually like playing this. I mean... It was really frustrating. It was that Ninja Gaiden experience. Maybe partly for the wrong reasons. But I still enjoyed it. Like, the combat is actually kinda addictive. This is the same feeling I had basically as in the first game. But I feel like this is overall worse than the first game. And that's kinda like crazy considering that it's so much older than this game. Like, what the hell? I mean... Yeah. I don't understand. I think the first one is better with its mechanics, because Steel on Bone is just like... It doesn't... Like, when the fighting system works, it's super flowy and like super cool, and you actually like feel like you're in control. But when it doesn't, it's just like shit doesn't hit, like the Steel on Bones doesn't work randomly. I mean, part of it is, I feel like the difference is that some of the Steel on Bone attacks are considered like basic attacks. And you can like counter them with just like attacking with the Y button. And it doesn't like... it just like overrides them somehow. But then there are like the crap versions of those, like the monkeys have. And you need to like dodge them and punish them basically with the Y attack. If you try to attack into it, it will override it. It has like a super armor or hyper armor or something like that. It doesn't work in that. That's how I feel. I'm not sure how it actually works, but that's kinda how it feels at least. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not. Who the fuck cares? If I'm wrong, then it's just random, like the whole fucking battle system. Not to mention like the camera. Now that I actually remember. Do you have the option to take out the cinematic fucking camera so that you don't need to like... So that it doesn't... Are these like graphical settings? No. No. You can't disable the fucking camera, like the cinematic camera, because it fucks up the like the direction where you're trying to do the Steel on Bone. You can't see where the enemy is. And it's kind of the same with the like the ultimate attack or the ultimate technique when you're like doing it. And you need to... I noticed they didn't even explain that, but you need to obviously like press to the direction of the enemy that's close to you, and it will like go out, like direct it into that. Otherwise it just randomly goes anywhere. And the Steel on Bones just stops the chains. It doesn't like do anything if you don't have the enemy near it or direct it to the nearest enemy. Or the closest, like to the right side. So, what were they actually thinking? The cinematic effects just make it hard to see what to do. Like, why? And why can't you disable it? I don't understand. The truth actually is that the aiming mechanic is still like a really fucking bad thing in this game, generally. Like, so often I would aim, and like, generally I have to say that sometimes the bow aiming, you aim, it will actually prioritize the targeting, like it prioritizes the ranged attack enemies, it will like aim at those. But unfortunately, it will just randomly target those. Even if you're like looking at the guy who's shooting you, and you want to like aim at him, auto aim at him, it will lock on to the opposite side of the screen where the other enemies that it thinks that should be prioritized. Even though you want to like take out the sniper from that's sniping you from far away. I mean, that's just like, what the fuck? That's so outdated shit as ever. The game, like, then there's the aiming system of your character attacking, like, okay, let's say maybe the situation where I slide and I attack, it will actually aim at the direction where you're sliding, so it will not autocorrect to the nearest opponent. I feel like that's part of the reason. But sometimes I fucking feel like it just attacks to the direction it just wants to, like randomly. Like there were situations where it just attacked to the completely opposite side of the enemy. Even though I was pressing, like directing the attack to the enemy, like pressing into the direction. it just does what it wants to. Like, I feel like so often it just does what it wants to. And the problem with that is, it happened often, but when I was trying to attack to the nearest enemy, it would attack like somewhere, and of course it would whiff. And since the game actually reads your input sometimes, like it does, it's obvious it does read your inputs. It reads your inputs that's okay, he's going to attack over there and whiff, so I can do this throw attack or this red attack and punish him instantly from this. Because that's what happened so fucking often that it's kinda insane that they thought that was a good thing. Like, give me a fucking, like, make it so. This is the same critique that I had in the first game. Give me attacks that aren't like totally different from like pushing in the direction. That you can like give me the basic attack that just switches to the side and that you can do the basic combo from there. Instead of giving me like a punishable move, punish move that I get punished from if I press to the direction. And in this case it didn't even matter because I was fucking hitting the opposite side even though I was pressing to the direction of the enemy. Do you understand what I mean? I'm so tilted and frustrated about this that I fucking rant. And it's kinda hard to like make a coherent thought since English isn't my native language. But like if only another thing, this game actually brought back the dash attacks being like, the dash attacks aren't as bad as in the first game, or as big of a problem or a punish move or like a failure. Let's say they're failure moves. You fail because you're a fucking asshole. So in this game they're not that bad, but they're not good either. Like for example, I want to move a bit forward and do the Y attack, the strong attack on claws. The dashing attack is the jump kick and it does that and just flies away into somewhere and gets punished. Like, why? I mean, yeah, there's so much critique for this game. Like, it's not a bad game, but it definitely isn't polished enough. And considering that this is the upgraded version or like remade or remastered version or improved or whatever you want to call it, it's still like, yeah. The problem is that the game is also like too complicated for its good. It has way like the same, even more than the previous games. This has even more useless moves and chains, and like 90% of them is just like you don't even need use them. They're so fucking useless that you don't even use them. Or so complicated that you're not going to be getting them out in a combat. Unless you're like invested 50 million hours into this game and like basically play the 3D action games and this game all the time. So it's like, why? Oh yeah, there's the other thing is like especially this is like this ties in with the fact that there's so insanely large amounts of useless moves. There's no like, you don't know what attacks actually combo what attacks. Enemies like, for example, before you could do the light heavy, and that would be the launcher, general launcher with most of the weapons. In this game, even if you hit with the light attack, they can just block or dodge afterwards, so it's not guaranteed. You never know what is a guaranteed combo and what is not. Like how much hit stun, like they think it's like a fighting game and trying to do a fighting game mechanic where you have canned strings that you can do. But the problem is that they don't fucking understand that they need to actually like either give a training mode or somehow show what is a true combo and what isn't. What is the hit stun for the combination or the attacks so that you know what you can chain into it. Otherwise you're just blindly mashing buttons and thinking like what the fuck? And it's still the same thing here. Like, if the enemy just lets you attack them, they will. If they don't want to let you attack them, they will not. You will not never hit them. They just dodge everything, block everything, and punish you. And especially true with the bosses. Like, the bosses have... It's just random when they have, like you saw in the last few bosses. The only thing I fucking did was just punch, like, light, dodge to the side, light, dodge to the side. If I did like any longer combo or try to do like a heavy attack or something, enemy would just power armor through it. Like, it's just so fucking dumb. Like, what the fuck? Actually make a boss that you can punish. Like, even you can't even punish it certain like attacks. It just if they like lets you do actually do a string that punishes them. Otherwise, yeah, they can just power through. They throw through, they attack through, they do something. Like, at least I got one crystal trial done, but even then I had to use my fucking full health. Or like a health upgrade in that. Also, there's like stupid fucking gacha moments. Like, haha, you fell into, like, it's playing like a fucking Souls-like game basically. Like, haha, you didn't notice, you gotcha, you died. Like, there's so many of these. There weren't basically any of those in the previous games. Like, in the first game there were like random traps with random appearing enemies, but there weren't like haha, you didn't notice, you died, or like insanely punishing shit or anything. So this game has like crazy amounts of cheap moments that you can't basically avoid unless you know them already. And even then you'll probably take damage because it's mashing fuck dumbass shit. Oh yeah, and not to mention like the really fucking well balanced and like well made enemies, like the mages. Yeah, the mages. No fucking red moves. They have an instant like a super armor grab attack that drains your ki, and it also does damage. And they can just like spam it out from anywhere. It's the fist mages, like the sword mages don't do that. And then they have like infinite polygon spamming tracking fireballs that just come in. They have like instant super cards and all that bullshit. Yeah, very good game design and character design. And that leads me to say about the repetitiveness of the game, because it is fucking repetitive. Like, even the second game was pretty repetitive. You just go next room, enemies, next room, enemies, next room, enemies, some plot, next room, enemies, next room, enemies, next room, enemies, some plot, boss. And in this game it's even worse. The difference is that this game has like those gacha moments, like what's the word for it? Like, you have to press a button to counter it. That breaks it up a bit, so I don't know, maybe it's not as repetitive then. But generally you just go next room, enemies, next room, enemies, next room, enemies, oh healing point, next room, enemies, next room, enemies, next room, enemies, oh healing point. It's repetitive. The only thing that makes this like tolerable in its repetitiveness is actually the fucking nice combat system when it works. It feels like satisfying, rewarding and satisfying when you get it to work, or it works, I guess. And that's the thing that makes it helps out in the repetitiveness. But yeah, like the aiming systems and all those, they're like, I don't know what they were thinking with this. Like, the game isn't even that old. It's 2012 since it came out, 12 years ago. It's not even that old. And Metal Gear Rising does everything better than this. And that game still is actually quite difficult, being fairly, like, difficult as a fair game. And if you want the unfair, play it on the fucking Revengeance difficulty, or very hard. In both of those you basically die in one shot. So, yeah, go play them. If you want actually like insane difficulty, unfair difficulty. But generally it's hard if you play it for the first time. This is just like a dumbass shit this game does. I mean, the prime example is the Steel on Bone tutorials. Like, it sums up this whole game. Like, nothing is actually like polished or meant to be. Like, they give the tutorial to do Steel on Bone, but it's completely like wrong. It says that direction and Y. Except that doesn't work on many of the enemies. You need to actually like dodge and then do it. And even then it's kinda like, okay, I didn't get it now. Or my character just missed. Because, you know, the game is like too complicated for its own good without there being like tutorials and actually like the game explaining things. Like, this is the same thing as with like all of the Ninja Gaidens, I assume. All of the outdated games, like, even though it's only 12 years ago, or 12 years old, this is still the same outdated mechanic that's in like the old games. You don't know anything, games are insanely hard unless you find a way to actually cheese the game, or like that cheap tactic that you can abuse and just use. The Ninja Gaidens are the typical example of those types of games. Like, I've played I played and completed all the hard NES games from way back, like Battletoads, Turtles 1 and Turtles 2, Faxanadu, old Megamans, what else? Like, basically any old NES game, like a well-known, you know, I've probably beaten and played that. Except for Ghouls and Goblins or Ghosts and Ghosts, what's the first one? I finished the Super version, the SNES version, Super Nintendo version. But I haven't played the original or finished that. Well, I have played it, but I haven't finished it. And I've actually beaten all of those. The difference, like, this is comparable to those, because it's just, like, unfair and cheap, like the old ones. The difference in this game is that, or these games, is that you can't take it slow. In the older NES games, you could actually, like, even if there's a time limit, you could always take it pretty slow to, like, do it and go through it. And it wouldn't be like that impossible to find like a cheese tactic that you could use, because in most games you'd really need to use a cheese tactic to get through them because they were just so unfair. In this game, you can't like take your time and play it slow or anything, because their enemies are mopping you. It's basically pressure, they're all there. Everything is so fucking fast that you have to have like a fucking twitch reflexes of a fucking 14-year-old in coke and fucking everything, like every fucking drug and battery and all that. Otherwise you can't just react to anything, and that's the difference between this and the old games. Like, the old games I could like take my time and relax and play them slow and finish them. In this, you just can't. In this, you're constantly being pressured and you need to like just fucking 100%, like, yeah. And maybe that's my problem, because I have poor reflexes. I don't have good reaction times generally. I mean, it takes me, or a frame recognition. I can't like for example, 90% of the attacks the enemies did in this game, or the bosses, just looked like same type of attack as the other one. I can't like differentiate them until I play the game and see the thing for like, I don't know, like insane amounts of time. That's how it is in Dark Souls or any of the Souls-like games. Until I need to see it very many times before I actually like learn to differentiate the attacks from the others. And in this game it just isn't possible unless you just like play. This isn't like, I feel like this isn't made for if you're doing a blind playthrough and aren't really very experienced with these kinds of games. The playthroughs will not be entertaining like mine. They'll be really frustrating, you don't know what to do. You kinda need to, like I was thinking about going online and checking out like playthroughs or videos, YouTube videos about how the fuck do you actually play these games. Like I even thought about doing that in the first game and I was like, what the fuck? I just powered through the first game because it didn't feel like it was impossible. But in this game it came back and I was like, what the fuck? Should I just like stop recording and see how the fuck the people actually cheat this or cheese this game? How they do actually, because I refuse to believe that anyone says this is actually like a good game. Or any Ninja Gaiden is like a good game, you know, like a top of the... They're playable games if you just want to be frustrated, but they're not good, in my opinion. This is my opinion, of course, but I have a hard time believing that anyone like can objectively say that they're good games. I mean, they could say that they like the game and it's funny and fun playing it, but and get like ass beaten and be frustrated, but it's not a good game. Like the systems just aren't good. They aren't working properly. I mean, yeah. I mean, I really hate the fact that you can't know what to do, like it doesn't like tell you or give you like the command list and the attack moves and what are true combos, how to actually do the true combos, like what should you use, and then that's one of the like the cheese things that you need to learn and go see. Okay, use this combo, you can do this. Because in this game, for example, you can't use the Izuna drop, which was like a pretty good move in the previous first and second games, where you could like do the light attack and launcher and then just go and do an Izuna drop and it would be like a good thing. In this it doesn't work. And I'm not sure, I didn't find like a instant launcher with almost anything where you could basically get it. Like the sword seemed to have like a roll, dodge and heavy attack which would launch. I'm not sure if you can like go to do the Izuna from that. But it's just so... yeah. Like, all the bitching and moaning aside, I really actually liked playing this. For the most of the part, I enjoyed playing this instead of like even though it was frustrating, it gets me I get addicted to the salt, basically. I get addicted to the salt and the rage and moaning, and I need to like get more. I need to surpass it and go through it instead of giving up. That's the feeling I get. And it's the same feeling I get in Dark Souls and Souls-like games, but in those the mechanics work better and they are more like up to date generally. So yeah. But I like playing this still. I mean, I can't say I didn't enjoy it, because I did. Even though I got frustrated, but I guess getting frustrated for me is like maybe I'm a masochist or something and I enjoy it. I was waiting for that Ninja Gaiden experience and I got it. Like, similar to the first game. This was even more frustrating than the first game. Although the systems were like... The game is more easier, so to speak. The fighting system is more easier, so to speak. But it's still more frustrating. I mean, the second game I can't compare because, you know, I only played it on the easy difficulty, unfortunately. So, yeah. But, yeah. This wasn't a waste of time. I like playing it. I like the mechanics when they work, and I like the basic gameplay, and the visual elements are like really, really awesome. But there is a reason why they actually fixed so many or changed so many things. Team Ninja, the developer, did so many different things in their next game, like the Nioh, because they knew that this system just wasn't good, and then they wanted to bring some of them back to Neo 2, and they made it like a... They made some of the mechanics, and Neo 2, in my opinion, has the best mechanics of almost any of Soul-likes. But that's just my opinion. It might be because it's a bit too easy since you can do the shit, but I don't know. I like it most. But then again, I have fucking random opinions because, or like not mainstream opinions, since I think that Dark Souls 3 and Sekiro are the best Souls-like games anyway. Followed by whatever. Like I can tell you that the worst are Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2. And even Dark Souls 2 is better than Demon Souls in my opinion. But yeah, anyway, enough of the rant. Like, I've basically covered everything. It's not like it even matters to anyone. It's just like, it kind of makes me frustrated because this game has potential, and if I know that if I'd actually spend a lot of time, this might be really like entertaining. All of these Ninja Gaidens might be really entertaining if I'd have enough time to spend and just like try to actually learn the mechanics and all that. Like, well. But I powered through it. I've now powered through all of the Ninja Gaidens. Sigma 1, Sigma 2 and this one. And yeah, I mean, did I miss out on playing them? Like, did I miss out that I hadn't played them? Well, not really. I always wanted to test them out. Since in my youth they always said that it's like the hardest games ever and all that shit. But the difficulty comes from it being just unfair. Just cheap and unfair. It's not balanced properly. It's cheap and unfair. And if you find a cheese tactic, you will most likely just roll through the normal difficulties without problem. Even though a person like me who doesn't know the tactics will have an insane amount of rage and salt flowing from his ass. So yeah. I'm actually thinking that maybe I should, like, so that I know what to criticize actually, and if my critiques are actually like have any validity, I should probably like next up go and watch like actual good players doing a playthrough of these games, and or speedrunners actually running the trilogy games, all of these, and see what they do, what are the cheese tactics, and maybe like read up on some guides or something and see like what are the cheese tactics and what are how do you actually play this game properly, and how do you actually do, because I refuse to believe that it's just this what I did. There has to be like some sort of like this feels so much like such a game that if you find a cheese tactic or like a certain overpowered tactic, you will just like abuse it to death, and probably it won't be that difficult. And or if you know what to exactly do to the enemies and all those. So I mean, that's my next plan, and I'm kind of thinking that if I keep my Game Pass subscription ongoing, that if I actually learn how the game works, that maybe I should try them on the... Or even if I don't learn them, maybe I should try to play the games like 1, 2 or 3 on a harder difficulty. Like the first one on a hard difficulty, the second one actually on a mentor difficulty, like I was thinking about previously. Like the very hard. And this one on a... What's the next one? Hard? Yeah. Those who walk the path of a true ninja must first suffer. Yeah, well, this normal was already suffering. I'm not gonna do fucking Master Ninja. I can't finish it ever. if I do it. So I'm thinking about maybe doing that, like actually studying up on how these games really work and what the actual players do, and then just like try to implement it myself and see if I can suffer, like literally suffer through the harder difficulties on the first, second and third this game. I feel like that's what I kinda want to try out. These aren't the thing about these games that's crazy to me. These aren't the type of games that you can just pick up and go to like play. These are actually the type of games that you need to study and learn in order for you to actually make through and be decent. Even on normal difficulty. Like, I've played God of War 1, I've played God of War 2, like the 3, like the original ones. And I've played them on a harder difficulty, not the hardest one, but the second to hardest difficulty. And they didn't really pose that much of a problem. They weren't crazy or anything. But this game, like, it's actually comparable, maybe even harder. Well, okay, I'll take it back. Maybe this is comparable to the very hard difficulty of those games. And that's kinda crazy. Metal Gear Rising is actually on same par, but the mechanics are solid and they actually work. So once you, like, the first time I played Metal Gear Rising, I didn't want to check out the tutorials or anything. But you're forced to actually go, because I was like, I didn't know how to parry or whatever the blocking is. And that's like important, that's like necessary for you to use if you want to actually finish the game. And I was like, what the fuck do I do? It was the same as in this game. And then once I looked at the tutorials, then I kinda understand it, and then it was a bit easier, but it was still insanely hard. Like, even on normal it was difficult. It wasn't like a, just go in and mash buttons. Like, kinda like how God of War pretty much works. But it's... on a harder difficulty it's not that simple either. But this is like a... This game actually requires you to like learn. And that's... I mean, it's a problem when you're doing like playthroughs for YouTube. It becomes a problem. You don't have that much of a time to actually learn, and I don't want to, like I've said before, I want to play, if I'm playing a game blind, like I did these games, I want to play them blind without actually checking out guides or FAQs or anything, any of those things. I just, or tutorials or any, like non-game tutorials, like from internet or YouTube or video tutorials or anything like that. I just want to like play and learn the game. I don't want to spoil myself. That's how I played Elden Ring, for example. I didn't spoil anything. I just stayed away from every fucking thing. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's what I might think about doing, like the... Just studying up on how the game works, checking out tutorials and all that, and then... maybe playing these on a harder difficulty and seeing how, if I can suffer through it. Like, it's probably a bit easier like playing it the second time since you actually know the game, but it doesn't really make it easy unless you know the tactics. You'll be frustrated and tilted, and I'm not sure if I'm going to manage it. Like, if I'd have enough time, I'd probably could do it, but I'm not going to spend like fucking 50 hours to complete a game on YouTube, I mean, on recording. Like, normally I would, but not recording something like that, and I'm not going to like practice out of video or like do anything like that, because it kind of defeats the purpose of playing actually and recording the video of your experience. But I guess we'll see. Like, the thing is, if I play those and if it seems like it take too much, it would take too long, I can always just rage quit the whole thing and never tell that I even started the whole playthrough of those, so yeah, no one would know. Not to mention, the one problem I noticed that I feel like felt like this game actually had like frame drops or dropped inputs, but I'm not sure. I'm definitely not sure if it's because of the Xbox app and my like a PlayStation 4 controller being used there, because that might conflict or do something, or maybe my game like a controller or computer is breaking up or having some issues, FPS drops or something. So I had FPS drops and that's a problem. Not to mention that there's also other problems, like in the first game, if you like the aiming didn't work properly and all that. There's some issues with the Xbox app and PS4 controller, but unfortunately that's the only thing I have, and that might make some things like a problem. I feel like that's part of the the reasons I might have problems in these games, because the shit doesn't work properly. But who knows? I don't. Which might be that might be a problem if I do that harder difficulty run playthroughs, suffering throughs. I call them suffering throughs. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I liked the game. I liked playing it. I found it enjoyable. Frustrating, really fucking frustrating. Enjoyable, rage-inducing, but enjoyable. I liked it. I liked playing it, and it got me the same masochistic feeling that fuck, I need to learn this, I can't give up type of shit that happens. And yeah, despite my raging, I liked it. And I guess we'll see what happens next, what I'll decide to do. Anyway, thank you for watching, if you watched and if I even upload these videos to YouTube ever. But in case I do, thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next video, whatever that may be. Actually, you can leave me comments also about the whole thing and what to do and all that. Maybe that might help a bit if anyone's interested. Anyway, this is UFONman signing out. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.